Webinar. All right, welcome in everybody. I'm excited to be talking to you guys about a comprehensive guide to holiday lighting, right? And today is really good because we're talking about something that's new and different. This is about starting a new business unit, right? Doing something that you've kind of never done before. And I think it's worth sticking around to the end for two reasons. One, I think you might be surprised as to how good this business model is, for one. And the second reason you might want to stick around is I got something special for you that you're not going to want to miss out on. So you definitely want to be here. And so if you guys have any questions during the webinar, we'll get to that. But first, I want to introduce my co-host and lovely wife, Allison Sand. She's here with us today. Say hello, Allison.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, Allison ran this webinar previously 2 times by herself, and I decided that I would join for this one. But Allison, you want to explain how people can get help during the webinar, since I'll be doing most of the talking, you can help people out?
Absolutely. So we want to make sure that you are adding any comments that you have inside of chat, and that you're saving your questions for Q&A, just so that we can address them, just because we don't typically monitor the chat as we're going. So if you have a question, make sure that you are parking it inside of Q&A. And we also want to make sure that you are sending it, if you're in the chat, we want to make sure that you have set it to everyone, just so that everybody can see it, as opposed to just channel hosts and panelists. And then if you have a question at the end and we have any time, then we'll be able to bring you on the mic and you can ask your question then.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allison. Yeah, make sure you park those questions in the Q&A. That way we'll get to them at the end. And before we commence, I just want to make sure, it's a Friday, right? There's probably lots going on. Take your phone, flip it over, turn it upside down. And we will make sure that you get all your answers before we leave. But be in the room, be with us in the room, and we'll take care of you from there. Now, my promise for you today is that we are going to show you how to add 10 to 20% more revenue to your roofing business before the year is out. Put a 1 in the chat, just for sake of argument. Would an extra 10% in revenue in your roofing business be a good thing? Yes or no? Put a 1 in the chat, yes. Put a 2 in the chat, no. If you put a 2, I don't know what you're thinking, because of course it would be great to add 10% to your business before the year is out. And I'm gonna promise to show you how to do it in a way that's easy to implement, because this is what we're doing. This is not difficult, right? And it's also high profit, right? It works coast to coast, from Canada to Texas, from San Diego to Syracuse. And we use this in our roofing season, right? In our roofing company that we had in Canada, to bail ourselves out in the winter season, pay our bills, and keep our roofers working, our salespeople selling, and our marketing efforts expanding when there was zero roof work to be done in the winter because we were in Canada. And we know this works from experience, not theory, because we had no experience going into this. In fact, when Allison kind of took this on, because this was a big push for her, the poor girl thought she could measure roof lines by walking the wheel down the sidewalk. So we'll cover how much money she cost us in a minute, but we'll let you skip that lesson, and we're just going to jump on straight into the holiday lights. And with that being said, we're here to offer you this knowledge today, so you don't have to learn any of the lessons that we did. But I want to address the elephant in the room, because many of you have been to our webinars, and you're probably wondering, why are we talking about Christmas lights? And for those of you who don't know, Allison is my wife, but there was a time when she was just a girl dating a guy that owned a roofing company in Canada. And this guy every winter would fly away, leaving her and my dog and the roofing company in the snow, figuring out how to make ends meet in the wintertime. And we tried everything. We did new construction. We did snow removal for the city. We did flooring. We did framing basements and new like all kinds of stuff. We tried anything that we could to keep our roofers doing the work, and sellers selling things, and the office paying paychecks, and the marketing agency running ads, because we didn't want to turn things off. But the problem that we faced was that roofers, as we found out, weren't really good at doing any of those things. And so we opted to keep the roofers out of people's basements and off hospital properties, and we landed on installing Christmas lights. So we would just simply go to the local big box store, and we would buy the lights, and then we would hang them. And as you can see from these crooked, janky lights, we weren't very good at that either. And so we thought we could do better. Actually, Allison thought she could do better. And so I think Allison felt that it just needed a woman's touch to make this into a business that we could be proud of. With everything that we're going to teach you today, you'll be able to do what we did without having yeah. Allison's still going to correct me here.
Yeah, without having to take a stop at selling $1,500 truck in the truck light jobs.
Yeah. And you can go straight to selling $3,000 jobs like this one, or $7,000. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, where we had to go back and put lights at the top of the tree because I underestimated again. And I'm going to make sure that through this course, you don't do that.
Yeah. And there's even $15,000 jobs like this permanent lighting job that we did. And if we get any further, we're going to need a longer price tag. But none of this would be possible without Dave Kent. This is Dave, who used to work with us at Sargent's Roofing. When the winter came along, it was like a foregone conclusion that he wouldn't have anything to sell because it's Canadian winter. The ability to sell holiday lights is what allowed him to support his family, because it was around this time that we were rolling out Sumo Quote to the roofing company, because back then we were like most roofers, right? We were using some kind of spreadsheet to do estimates. And it kind of occurred to us, if we can use Sumo Quote to sell a roof, we can use it to sell holiday lights, and we could drastically cut down the time it took him to sell and increase his closing rate. And the challenge that we dealt with were where people didn't understand the differences between the products and the services that we were selling, which was these fancier lights, compared to buying these big box store lights and hanging them from like with some random guy that was competing with us on a Facebook marketplace.
And this is where Adam has that kind of Italian dad tendency where he's like, I could make this. And you're absolutely right, Adam. You did make that and you did do that. So we want to make sure that we are installing lights correctly and professionally so that you can get the value out of the customers and really get the main part where it's like you are ensuring that your customers are paying a premium dollar service so that you ensure that they come over to your roofing business after the fact.
Rub it in. Well, by taking Allison's experience in the beauty industry, and when she was young, she watched a lot of Keeping Up with the Kardashian Christmas specials. So she was able to take these holiday light presentations that captivated these rich ladies that had this proclivity to racking up their credit card to stunt on the ladies down the road. And she was able to help with like putting in the measurement tokens, putting the price items into Sumo Quote. And she made these awesome presentations that stood out from the landscapers and the screen door guys that were showing up with a simple quote, started selling these things like hotcakes. And as life would have it, Dave ended up moving away a couple hours from Edmonton, where he was working with us. But when we started selling Sumo Quote builds to our customers, he came on to help Allison, who was running this department all by herself. And his job is to dissect and rebuild roofers' pricing plans and upgrade strategies and systemize it so that they could build like predictable sales systems. So he got really good with this tool. And this is part of the stuff we hope to show you today, is how not only you can make it easy, but more so how you can make it easy for your team to get a boost in sales, referrals, and commissions as they're going into the holidays. Because if you aren't going to do this business model for you, like if you're thinking, why do I need to do this, right? Well, maybe think about doing it for your team, because this is a great way to get some holiday cash into the hands of your people who are experiencing the winter slowdown in an industry where people work really hard in the heat and bust their butts to make hay when the sun shines, only to kind of be running on empty come slow season, right? Right before they're expected to make Christmas miracles happen for their families, the roofing industry kind of tapers off. You're full, your construction schedule's full, there's nothing more they can sell. The ability to get commissions on these Christmas light sales every day made a big difference for Dave and the rest of our guys back in those days when we were running our roofing company. And so another thing to think about is that every climate has a seasonality to it. And every sales rep wants to have a little extra holiday cash in their jeans for the gift giving season. Doesn't matter if you're in the northern climate where business goes to near zero, or even if you're in a southern climate where business just slows down. As a roofing business, you know your customer list as well, right? You have some customers who only care about the price, and you have some customers who will pay the top price for the best service and the top quality. Everyone your production manager, your salespeople, and you as a business owner want more of those high-end customers who are looking for a quality service contractor who they can kind of rave to their friends about. This is the people you want to get in front of, and holiday lighting helps you do that. And the other hard thing about roofing is that it's like long-lasting gum, right? The better it is on delivering its promise of being a good roof, the less often you make money. Because how does a roof last? 20, 50 years? What about a repair? You get 1 to 5 years. Maybe after the repair, you might install a roof and then wait the 20 years. And like, think about gutters, what, 7 years, maybe 20? And how often does a storm hit the same roof? Every 3 years if you're lucky, right? Maybe never. And you can't certainly count on that. And so you'll never get off the get a new customer treadmill if you're just doing roofing. And we all wish in the roofing industry we could get that holy grail of business value, right? That recurring revenue. But unless you're in like the old boys club of Carlisle certified contractors who can sell like 7-figure roofs with no dollar limit warranties that require maintenance packages, it's really hard to get there. This is a much faster way to create guaranteed recurring roofing revenue. And this is how you create enterprise value. By the way, the team loves to make fun of me for when I make my own designs. They always put these Adam made this, not approved by the creative department. Like they just love to rip on the fact that I'm not good at making things pretty. And I think it's because they don't want to take the credit for it. But this is how you create enterprise value in a business, right? When you have an arm of your business that is creating reliable, recurring, growing revenue that also expands your customer base for your main service, this makes your company worth so much more to you, more to potential buyers. And eventually you're going to have to want to, even if you're not selling your roofing company, you're going to have to sell yourself on staying, right? And continuing to roofing. And imagine being this guy, Benjamin Morrow, right? Brennan Morrow, sorry. He woke up August 16th, realizing that 300 of his customers from last year had already signed up for this year's light hanging service at an average of $2,500 per job. How many of these people are going to need a roof eventually? How many of these people want gutters or gutter guards? And you're going to be there seeing it. And so I want you to think about this for a second. Just put yourself in a different place, because you might be thinking, like, I don't understand why I would want to take this on. Well, you probably do gutters. Put a 3 in the chat if you do gutters in your roofing business. Just help me see if we have some people here who at least believe in gutters as a business. Just put a 3 in the chat. All right. Okay, so you're already doing this business model by another means. Because if you could get a gutter job where you're paying, say, what, $7 a foot, to the contractor, and you're charging out $11, $50, or $12 or $14 a foot. Now, what if those gutters in the customer's eyes looked ugly and out of place for 10 months a year? So what if your customers asked you to take them down, right? And they only had them when they wanted them or needed them. And 92% of them would pay you to come put those gutters back up the next year. And all they're hoping for is a 10% discount because you already have the material. Now, even the 8% of people who don't ask you to come back next year and install the gutters again, the worst thing they did was say no thanks. And you could take those same gutters and give them to someone else for pretty much the same price you sold them for last year, because you could reuse the material in some places. That's exactly what holiday lighting is. It requires a bit of a mindset shift to not think about it as Christmas lights or something cute and fun like these sweaters, but think about it like gutters with recurring revenue, where you get the same margins, faster jobs, and it's easier to sell. So I want to talk a bit about selling it and when does the season start? Why are we talking about this in September or August? Well, because their business season is actually October, November, December, because of something called Diwali. Diwali is a Hindu holiday that runs from October 29th through November 3rd. So this is where your early season Diwali discount comes out. This allows you to get some jobs up, get some videos done, start creating some social content. This is just the Indian Festival of Light. It's literally a festival of light. So yes, they do holiday lights for their holiday too. And then in November, we tell the installers to record videos doing 22 push-ups at the start of every job, because this is for the 22 veterans a day that take their lives due to PTSD. And this makes a lot of people happy and supporting you, who would otherwise sometimes get mad when you're on social talking about Christmas lights before Veterans Days. Supporting the troops and doing these push-up videos are really good for everybody. It's also great for warming up at the start of the day if you live in a northern climate where it's cold. And if you're just thinking maybe this isn't for you, like because you're in Florida or Texas, the fastest growing market from our supplier for lights, the fastest growing market for them selling lights, and they're in Seattle, right? So they're very far away. The fastest growing market is Florida. Okay. So then December is like your mad dash. This is when you're doing postcards, retargeting, all the video ads, blog posts, email blasts to your customers, lawn signs, Google search ads for the 3 weeks before Christmas. And then holiday lighting pretty much shuts off around December 15th. So I'm going to walk you through the exact marketing plan that you're going to use to go to market with holiday lights, literally day by day. Okay. So around October 15th, that's when you're going to start running Diwali ads. You're going to be talking, and there's interest groups that you can use on Facebook to target specifically the community that celebrates Diwali. And there's very few ads on Facebook targeting this interest group. So this is easy, cheap leads. And so remember, Diwali goes from October 29th to November 3rd this year. And so there's different colors that represent them, like yellow and gold is like prosperity, red is passion, pink is love, orange is purity. So this is a massive community in some markets, and this is their biggest holiday of the year. So you get to help them celebrate it, and you use it for early season discounts, and you can also use it to start with your light ordering. But then later in November, as Diwali ends, right, you start promoting a veterans discount and run video view ads of you starting your holiday lighting jobs with those 22 push-ups, right? Because people want to see, oh, hey, they're doing these push-ups. Why are they doing these push-ups? And you talk about the lighting, and then people go, hey, I want to know what's this going to look like when it's done. So people start seeing your social media feed is episodic, right? It's episodes, right? We have the start of the episode and then what happens at the end. And if you want a bonus tip, run a free holiday light gift for a nominated veteran before Veterans Day to support your troops, right? And so this is how we're going to show you how to do this. So if you run this veteran discount, that's where you're going to start making some money. You record your push-up videos. And then if you do this bonus, you're going to create this big social rush towards your business. And you want to start doing your email marketing here by promoting it to all your existing customers, right? The people that you've already done business with. And I'm going to show you exactly how this breaks down revenue-wise in a little bit. But on Facebook, right, and this is where you can expect $30 to $50 leads. These are way cheaper than the leads you're paying for roofing. But guess what? All these people own roofs too. Right. So you can, if you start sending like email marketing to existing customers for the early season discount before Veterans Day, right? The Veterans Day discount, you're promoting what nominating, right? Nominating a person who wants to, who's a serving veteran or who's a service member or a veteran. Like you get this buzz that starts to build up, and then you start sending direct mail using something like Dope Marketing. And they have the data. They can tell you what the highest income neighborhoods are. You can get into those gated communities with this coveted direct mail. And when people open something like this is the most attractive piece of spam that they're getting. Now you can use a QR code to your website, which then has you get to pixel their phone for more Facebook retargeting. But then you can also just have them phone you, right? But you can get into these neighborhoods that are actually a little harder to get into for roofing. And then you can also send direct mail to your existing customers by taking a picture of a house that has before and after on it. And you can say like, hey, do you want us to come by again? And this is a great way to say, hey, you say, thanks for your support. We'd love to offer you a customer discount for getting a no snow or early season discount for getting your lights done. And whenever you're sending them to your pages, remember, you've got a pixel on your landing page that's going to allow you to retarget them. And come late November, this is when all of a sudden people start thinking, like the people who get holiday lights, this is when they start thinking about it, right? So this is going to be around November 25th that you're going to start doing this. And you just start advertising an early season discount. And depending on how full your calendar is, and we have all the details that you need to do this, right? In our guide, but you would know exactly what ads to run, and it should just look like this, right? And people are going to love this. And then near the very last week of November, 27th, 29th to 30th of November is when you do your lawn sign launch. And this is where you want to go crazy. You want to put them everywhere. And I'll tell you a little secret. You don't put your logo on it. You just put we install holiday lights and a custom phone number, because here's the rundown. With a unique phone number, right? You don't need to put a logo on this, right? When this phone rings, you just say we hang Christmas lights, because this is not the lawn sign you put outside customers' homes. This is a lawn sign that you spam everywhere. In our guide, we show you exactly where to put them, so you have a strategy behind it. And the goal is to be visible. But then when people start to say, hey, why, like Dave Carroll's kind of joking a lot about this on Facebook right now, because he's promoting holiday lights right now, because he owns a pressure washing company and a window washing company, and he's promoting it. People are calling him and saying, take your lawn sign down, but they're not leaving 1-star Google reviews. The goal is just to be visible. You want to be at red lights and stop signs near school pickup areas, right? High traffic walking paths, all the things like that, so that you can maximize. And then you go into December, and these are your December moves. This is when you drop your early season discount, because you should have a pretty loaded up calendar, and you take the pictures of what you've been doing, and every week you just push out a little drip out. Hey, look what we did. If you're looking at getting holiday light quote, you can get a free design consultation highlighting some of the cool jobs that you did to build on this excitement and demand. And then when you break into a high-end neighborhood, you're going to have to get a lift, because you're going to have big-ass houses and big-ass trees. And trees are money makers. People have been dreaming for years to get that big tree outside their house lit up. And so you slam a bunch of lawn signs on this thing and park it there, I guarantee you, people just start calling you, because nothing says, look at what we're doing, like a 60-foot lift beeping for 8 hours while you hang lights on a 60-foot tree. And so people will call. The $300 a day that you're paying to park it in a high-end neighborhood with the rental, because you're just paying the rental fee on the lift, it's going to make you money. And then you record Facebook Lives throughout the day and posting pictures of when the jobs are done, because people love to see the finished product, right? This is like a video that I did just talking about how these clips go on, right? And I actually made a funny, something you don't know about me was that I would make a bunch of rap songs. I'd call myself the Christmas light rapper, and I'd make these funny rap songs. But this drove people nuts. We would talk about how we install lights on certain things, and then people want to see the finished product, and people can't help themselves. Look at how many views we would get on some of these videos. It was crazy. This builds your Facebook page's brand with homeowners, right? And then you just keep hammering and peppering with the postcards. And I want to talk to you guys. So now, do you guys feel like you understand like that this is a marketer's dream? Put a 4 in the chat if you see this as a marketer's dream, if you think that you could figure out how to get customers for holiday lighting. All right. I see a person in here, his name's media team. Whoever's on the media team, you probably wish that roofing was this sexy to market. So let's go and talk about how to estimate and sell. So there's some really cool, and we're going to have all this in our guide so you guys can see details on this, but there's a really cool way to do it, to set yourself up, make it easy, is you just use company cam, right? And you just take a picture of the front of the house, which guess what? You already have the front of the house pictures for hundreds, if not thousands of houses, right? And so just a few moments, you can turn this into this. So you can say, this is where the timer is. This is how we're running the wire. So you can tell the customer what this is going to look like. And then for the expert level tip, you get a cheap app. It's either free or you pay like $100 a year. This is what Allison found, this Jolly Lights app. It allows you to literally take a picture, import it, draw some lines on it, and then you can easily make it into something that you dim. It basically dims it and shows people what their lights are going to look like. And this makes people super excited, because you can export this little image, post it to your social, send it to the customer, right? You can show it to the customer live right in front of them and do a design consultation with them. They fall in love with this. Allison was just sitting at home with a bottle, or I should say a glass of wine, and just doing designs from the couch, and making crazy money doing this, right? And you can offer 2 options. You get the recurring revenue option, which is your seasonal lighting, where you put the lights up every year. You can do, around garage doors and trees and bushes. And then you have the triple the price option, which is where the customers choose to say, oh, that's a waste. I don't want to do that. I just want permanent lights. Okay, no problem. You want to spend 3 times the money? I win both ways, right? And so you also can get the trees and the branches and the columns, right? And this is how you make Christmas miracles come through. And then the other thing that you're going to get in our guide, and this is where Allison really, really became the rainmaker, was with packages and themes, right? So this is like the Frozen Princess package, where she would basically get these cutouts printed on both sides, so you can see it from inside the house and outside the house. And there would be themed colors and kind of, so this one was like the Ice Princess, where she's shooting the ice on there. And what do you think was happening when little girls looked outside their window and they saw Elsa spraying lights onto their house? These are the moments that families go crazy for, right? And I'm telling you, Allison would get the whole block because people all wanted to be a part of this whole theme. And it was all powered by Sumo Quote best practices and hero pages so that people were just hypnotized. There's no reason to go with those other guys, right? And so, yeah, we were those other guys at one point, but I want to break down the sales plan because I could talk about how to sell Christmas lights all day, but I want to show you guys what the revenue could look like. All right. And so, yeah.
All right. So if you own a $5 million company, that's typically around 300 customers just us here. So if you run a $5 million company, can you put a 2 in the chat?
Yeah, yeah, if you have a $5 million company, put a 2 in the chat. So I want to make sure this math makes sense to you. $5 million or more. All right. If not, that's okay. Just take the numbers and make them kind of go aspect ratio. But a strong email marketing campaign should get 20% of your customers to buy holiday lighting from you. This is not unrealistic. They've already spent money with you. They already like you. They already trust you. At a conservative $2,500 per job, that's 150 grand. Then you're going to spend around $15,000 on paid ads with Facebook, Instagram, and Google. Let's assume a worst case scenario and you get $150 leads. They should be way cheaper. Like we were just talking to one of our customers last week, he spends $40 a lead, and this is year round because he also does permanent lighting year round. But that would be 100 leads at a 40% close rate because people don't like this is not a willy-nilly purchase. At 40% close rate, that's another 100K. And then it's practically impossible to not have people walk up and ask you for a quote during the install. You'd have to be wearing Russian white camo for people to not notice you working. And these walk-ups are always easy sales because they already see you working. But let's be conservative and you only get one sale for every 2 installs, which is easy. Easy. That's another $125,000. So that's $375,000 in sales at a 40% margin from just $15,000 in ad spend, sending some emails for free, and just being approachable with a smile when you're on site, making someone's Christmas holiday dreams come true. And there's more, okay? Because we haven't talked about a single referral. Do you think it's possible or probable that your customers post pictures of your work on their social media and have their friends reach out? Do you think that people might be asking in local community groups? Do you think that they might share and show their friends at work? Of course they are. We haven't talked about a single call from your lawn sign launch or even a lawn sign at one of your customers' jobs. Or we haven't considered there's actually some people actually like seeing your social because this is something they actually want to see, right? Like nobody gives a shit. Like nobody gives a shit about a roof. Only you and me and the rest of the roofers in the room care about roofing pictures, but everybody loves. And these Facebook Lives are going to bring in leads for sure. And this is me and more of so Allison's favorite, which is the high-end whales, the rich ladies competing against each other in the high-end neighborhoods for $10,000 jobs, or the hedge fund managers who just want to flex on Barry down the road. With all this, it's easy to assume another 90 jobs or $225,000 in revenue, and 92% of those customers come back every year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and you already recouped your cost on the wire and the lights, and it's cut, ready to install. All you have to do is sometimes change the colors, and I saved the best for last because we aren't even factoring in selling any permanent light jobs for triple the price, which again, as a side note, is a roof upgrade you can sell for year round for $7,000, $10,000, or $15,000 to your average roof ticket. So I hope you guys see it. So let's talk about costs. All right. So you can see why I need an intervention from doing these janky lights, right? It's like there was so much opportunity on the table that we just weren't missing, but this is how a roofer thinks about Christmas lights. And now you're getting the benefit of Allison having done it. But we got to figure out how we pay for it. So just like gutters, you pay by the foot. And your average $2,500 job will only take 2 or 3 people a couple hours, right? And you're going to pay about $1.50 to $2.50 per install. And then approximately $1 to take them down. And it's a lot faster because you can just pull the lights off. You just have to take the clips. Like it's super easy. And it's way faster and easier. And maybe you're going to have a hot chocolate, club for your installers, because if it's cold where you are, this will keep them from going and finding ways to go jump in the truck and get warm, and nothing keeps them motivated like hopping them up on sugar water by the gallon. And there's plenty more I could tell you about this, and there's lots more in our guide, but there's plenty of people who try to do this hourly. And some can make more by doing so. But in some cases, you're gonna have to make sure your installers are fast and motivated. So your first year, I would suggest not doing it that way and just paying by the foot, right? So let's talk about where to buy the tools and materials. So the best way to keep your customers and team happy is to have lots of supplies on hand, right? There's lots of places to buy lights wholesale, but we have always loved the quality and service from Big Star. They sell to the US and Canada. And like I said, their fastest growing market is Florida. So you buy in bulk and you buy early. I'm going to show you in the guide, it shows exactly how much to buy, what to buy, the most common light colors, right? But this is where you start making a lot of your money is by investing in the lights early. They don't spoil, they don't go bad. The lights are small, they're not heavy, so you can store them easily until next year. But there's a couple other things you want to get, right? You want to get lots of these. These are multi-clips. You put them on every single light. You want lots of these. They're only like 2 or 3 pennies a piece, so they're super cheap. But this is what keeps the light looking straight, and they're really easy to work with. And they, even with gloves on, they don't scratch the gutters. And these are all things that you can talk about in your sales presentation, because the screen door guys are putting staples through shingles. We took lights off all the time that were stapled onto the roof line by some screen door guy or window washer, right? But then there's other clips you can get too, because some customers are going to have gutter guards, right? And so these are a little more expensive, right? They're going to be like 20 cents a piece or 5 cents a piece. But some even have magnets that you can use around like flat metal roof edges and stuff like that. And they're a breeze to take off because you just go and they're done, right? So they're fast to take off. So your takedown is super fast, right? And then there's some tools that you're going to want to use because you're going to be cutting a lot of wire. So every person needs a pair of these. And this isn't like this isn't an instruction manual, but when I say squeeze here, I mean this is a good way to push in the wire sleeves, because you put the wire in here and then you slide this on, and that's how you get a plug end anywhere that you want in the wire. And you can use this to put this in here, and then you squeeze it, right? Because it's hard for some people, right?
Yeah, especially in the cold, because sometimes you're trying to like squeeze those, or you're trying to pinch that wire to make sure that you have a really tight connection.
Yeah. And I wish we had one of these. We sort of made one out of like a broomstick and some two ladders, which worked pretty good. But this would have been
Just
so
invest in one. Just
yeah.
invest in one.
We wish we had this back when we did it. They didn't make one like this back then. We found it this year. But if these reels fall and break, they're made of plastic. It's cold, so they crack and then they don't roll and spin nice. So if you keep them on here, they're gonna roll nice. You're gonna keep your lights out of the snow, and they're super handy for spooling the wire out and for putting the wire back when you're done, or when you're done the job, like when you're taking down the lights. And then these things are awesome, right? Milwaukee packouts are a great way to keep your clips, your tools, your tester wires, all kinds of things neat and organized. And the boss tip that Allison found out is drilling holes in the bottoms of these things, because what happens is they get their hands covered in snow, they grab it, they're grabbing stuff, and then you're eventually going to put this back somewhere warm, and that way you're going to keep the snow and water from building up in there. And these are also awesomer, is that you have these drink mug things that you can put on the top of them. So a really cool treat to give your holiday light installers is these Milwaukee.
Bonuses.
Bonus.
And the other point too is like if it's snowing out or if it's raining out, depending on where you're at, it's like making sure that your team is like closing it, because you want to keep all of your everything like until it's actually installed and ready to go. We want to keep it out of the elements as much as possible, just because when you don't have the clips like pinched, you can have corrosion. So when you walk away, and stress this to your team, like when they walk away, they just close the lids, and that's something that is so nice about the Milwaukee pack out, and they all feel so lucky when they get one. So yeah, all of their tools are warm, especially if you have like what are those vans that we used to have?
Yeah.
What was
Oh,
Mariah?
yeah, that
Like
was
transit vans.
yeah.
Yeah, so
That's the other thing. A gutter truck, like you could have a gutter truck with a trailer with a gutter machine in that costs thousands of dollars, that needs maintenance, right? With this, you're doing this with a Ford Transit Connect, like a cheap little van, right? You can do it with a Grand Caravan too, and you can make trees a breeze with these little tools here. These are cheap, like 30, 40 bucks. But this one here is good for like hanging lights up, and then this is like the Grinch funnel because it looks like the Grinch gun kind of. But then you just run the wire through here. You have a little backpack that you have a bundle of wire in, and you just walk in circles around a tree and lower this thing down as you go. It makes it super easy to do canopy wraps on trees with it, and you just get these extendable paint handles, right? And so the other thing is, and Allison, you can explain more about this, but this is like how you can triple your money on a wreath by just putting this stuff on it.
Yeah, so on your quotes, and we'll teach you how to do this, but on your quotes, you have things that are called like shop fees, and that really covers like a lot of like your super stick. This is the best flock that you can get, and it's super easy. You just have a water bottle and flock, and that makes it look like it's snowing. So like for your frozen package, you would make sure that you are like heavily flocking things, and we can cover like more about the packages. But what I did is I reached out to Amazon, or sorry, I reached out to Home Depot, and I actually bought cases of wreaths. So like 20 or 50 wreaths. And then when they come, like they're all squished. You got to spend some time like kind of fluffing them up. But if you have an office manager or your wife or someone, you basically get them a hot glue gun, some dollar store decorations, and then and like some bows and things, and they like create based on the packages that they create the packages, and then they use like the wreaths and the garland based off of that. And I mean, it's cheaper stuff, but like you're selling it typically for $50 a foot for some of that garland, and like the bigger wreaths, like go and look at what some of these women are paying for these wreaths. And a bonus tip on that is like I always like to buy flowers for myself just because reasons, but I like to have flowers around and I don't have them. But then if I buy them, then I do have them. And I had a really amazing florist, and I went to her and I asked her to create some like different floral designs out of greenery. And so I gave her like kind of a list of everything that I wanted her to create and the colors that I installed on customers' homes. And then she created some baskets. And I mean, some women are paying like $900 to $1,200 for like two sconces that they hang on their garage, or like those big baskets with like all of that fresh greenery. Now, even better if you can have someone in your office create it, like they just go to the Home Depot or like outside of grocery stores and whatnot, and they buy all that
I like the
greenery, or they can
forest
go
because
source it.
it was easy. I want to think
Yeah,
like
and it's
most of the time
supporting as well.
yeah, like I wanted to keep this super simple for roofers, but like this is like you don't even like all you literally have to do is go to the florist and say, hey, I sold these customers these colors. And she made custom floor arrangements that were those colors, and she delivered them. And these customers love Allison.
On Christmas Eve. And so, sorry, you take basically the colors that you installed outside, and now they're bringing it inside, and then you have like a really pretty like note or card that says thank you, so that when they have all of their family over the winter, they see like, oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. And you want it to last obviously through the 2 weeks, but so you stress that to your florist. But they bring it inside into and put it on display, and now you have marketing inside of your customers' homes at the time when they're all drinking Baileys and getting drunk and eating food. They're all jolly, so now they're like associating you with this like really great time. So
Yeah, Allison's got holiday lighting on lock. Like she made this department spit money. It was absolutely crazy. And so, for the boys in the room that want to play with cool toys, this is another great thing that you get is one of these, you rent one of these things, right? They're super cheap. And this makes it really easy to get up on the 2-story houses and reach all the lines. And they're dirt cheap to rent. It's electric. It charges off the truck. And then, you just run this, you get to put this thing wherever you want really easy. And then you can install lights really simple. And when you have one of these things, people call. So we literally just put lawn signs on this thing on the front, the back, the sides, and everywhere we drove, people were just calling us all the time to get lights installed. And when you have tough spots, then you can get the goat, right? We white labeled it and call it the roof hook. But this is another way to get guys up and down on the roof safely. And again, people look at this and they go, that's the way to get this done. These are the people to call. And you can talk about how you have these tools to make sure that you're not damaging the roof, because people want to hire a roofer to do this work, right? And so I want to give you guys another quick little pro tip. This is a mistake that I made, which is that when you take down the lights, usually take the lights out because you put them into storage bins, gets the snow out of the plugs, right? It makes it so the bulbs last longer, and you can just keep making that recurring revenue without any additional cost. But the warm white and the cool white look the same, but there is a little WW and a CW on the light socket. So you just got to make sure you just make that quick little check when you guys are putting them in a bin. And we have all these tips in the guide. Like there's so much to make this business just super profitable, because when you take down the lights, you get these Rubbermaids, and these ones are great because you can stack these things 10 high if you want. And you drill a hole in the bottom so that the moisture goes out, just drill a bunch of holes in it. And then so you don't put them in a bag or anything like that. And then you get this colored electrical tape, right? So when you take the lights down, right, you just go back in company cam and say, that's the red strand. I'll show you. It kind of looks like this, right? Like that's the red strand, that's the yellow strand, that's the pink strand, that's the orange strand. You just use this to put there. And then you put a label on the box on all the sides, and it makes it super easy. Allison got to the point where she was actually separating them by area of the city, right? So that when we were doing the jobs again next year, we could make it shorten the drive times. Like she just got super efficient with it. But it just starts with doing that quick little job of setting the colors in company cam when you're done. But let's talk about how you guys could do this. So if you want to get into this holiday lighting business and you want to start making this Christmas cash, you can do some of the jobs like these ones that we did. Like
This
here,
is a
look at
blue
this.
tree and a white tree that we just did. And look at how Christmassy this whole block is.
So she sold one of these jobs for like $15,000 for like 7 or 8 trees, Allison. And then the next year,
No, it was 20,000, 22,000.
22.
And then the next year, we did, I think we did 7 trees, and I threw in 2 just because we had I overestimated, because at this point in the season I've underestimated a few times. And so then I just added all of those extra lights. And then the next year he called us back to come out and put in G30s in all of the trees. And so that was something that was so exciting, because he was just so excited to, like, his kids loved it, and they had lights outside of their patio and in their hot tub. So then when they would run through the snow, there was just like basically the whole river valley was like lit up in their backyard.
Yeah, and we ended up doing a Euro Shield roof for this guy, right?
Yeah, and we also got that year we also got a fascia repair as well from him, because we looked at his roof and realized that, there was like the person that did it before mismatched the color, and we ended up redoing his fascia as well.
Oh, I didn't even remember that. And so we have an easy way to show how to showcase jobs, how to record videos, get tons of local traffic and brand awareness, so you can get paid thousands of dollars of money on this, like this $19,000 light wall that Allison did for a commercial job. Or you could break into these gated communities and get jobs like this $28,000 job, or just bring a little bit of holiday cheer to some families with this $2,600 job. And all of these people have roofs, right? And you're sitting here saying you can't believe people pay that much, but people buy Bentleys, people buy Louis Vuitton purses, right? And those people live in houses with roofs and gutters, right? And the window washing guy, the landscaping guy, the screen door guy, that's who's in your market making money. Go join a couple Christmas light contractor groups. It's all those guys. And those guys are taking all this money from customers who need your service. Okay. And if any of this excites you, we've made this holiday lighting business launch guide. So you guys know it's a complete resource for anyone who wants to make money adding a holiday lighting business to their service to their business, with example ads that we use to get lots of low price leads, and not just like image ads either, but videos too. Our whole lead getting system is included. And remember, the lifetime value of a holiday light customer is that you can also turn them into roofing customers. These screen door guys can't make nearly as much money off these relationships as you can. And so you'll have lots of traffic heading to your holiday light landing pages, which is going to increase your SEO. It's going to increase the amount of homeowners that are going to your pages in the time when homeowners are not going to roofing sites, and Google's going to pick this stuff up. We have example hero pages that we use to sell those leads, and everything else we learned running a holiday lighting business. And you're going to get that from us here today. Over 200 hours went into making this guide. It took over 2 years. In fact, we wanted to launch it last year, but it wasn't to our standard, right? And so we had to continue putting in fact, we put another 30 hours into it in the last week, because we launched it for, we did a soft launch of the guide, and it wasn't good enough. There were still questions. So we went back and added more, and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of profitable jobs gave us these lessons, which some of them we had, lessons that were worth tens of thousands of dollars over the course of years, because like Allison's accidentally under measuring a tree, And so we decorated this tree from the top down, ran out of lights, and we had to put more lights on. But even with those lessons, this thing was still a cash cow. This guide, to say it would be like a franchise level instruction manual for a $600,000 business is not an understatement, because it includes all the assets, the instructions, the tools, the tips, the trips, the tactics, everything we've used to earn hundreds of thousands of dollars in holiday lighting revenue. And in fact, we're using it ourselves this year in our own side business because it's just that easy. We teach men like you to fish every single day. We want to catch a few of our own so we're running our own holiday lighting business just as a side business, right? Not like just on the revenue alone, we don't even stand to gain the roofing customer at the end of it. And just the experience offered in this guide, we would value at $2,999, which would barely cost the cost of the design team to put it together. There's over like 100 and some pages of value. There's instructions, there's lessons learned, it's packed into one easy to use digital guide. And we had to get our smartest employees and friends on the internet to help us find the formulas and build the calculators for doing trees, right? Because trees were hard to measure, but now we've made an AI bot to make it easy for you to do on site, so you can confidently quote trees on site. And this gives you if you have a fast and an easy way to price out the structure wraps and the Christmas tree wraps, the structure ones are like the branches, right? Because people are going to wonder how you do it. But they feel super luxurious, and people knowing how to measure these trees and how many mini lights to order and everything like that has always been a challenge. But with our AI bot, it just makes it simple for you to calculate it, so you can get these super profitable trees sold. And if we had this, it would have saved us thousands of dollars in losses learning how to measure trees. And to do this on your first day without any lessons, right, would be easily worth $499, because it took us 2 years and tens of thousands of dollars in advertising as well, just to learn the lead getting system, right? Just knowing how to market to the Diwali crowd for that early season boost will get you 15% more holiday lighting revenue. And we have all the creatives that you need, the inspiration swipe file, so you can go to market early and beat the competition of the market with proven creatives, budgets, and strategies on day one. Just the copywriting alone for the ads and the emails cost us a few $1,000s in lessons. Normally, anybody selling something that would get you $600,000 in business would value this at $8,999, but we're not valuing it at that. But we had to get this right? Because walking the walk is the only talk that matters. We had to figure this out, because not knowing how to sell holiday lights made this winter loss leader into a cash cow, and transformed the lives of our sales team at Christmas and allowed us to make it through the long, cold Canadian winters with 0 roofs on the books. Because, if you don't know much about Canada, we have 200 days a year where it's below 32 degrees, right? So you have the opportunity to get the exact hero page designs, proposal designs, calculators, sales techniques that we used to sell this over and over and over again every winter. And you get access to our holiday light launch training, which we're going to be hosting closer to the season, that you can attend. You'll get to keep those recordings so you can use it for future years. You get the lessons for life. And if you've owned a business for any length of time, you can probably think that by now the costly lessons learned along the way to run your business, your roofing company, right? Imagine what's happened over 3 years, right, of selling holiday lights, right? Without coaching like this, we paid for all those lessons and we're making them available here for you. For us, they cost us tens of thousands of dollars to learn and make these things happen. So you get this whole selling system, right, at $19.99 today value, at a fraction of what it cost us to develop and provide for you today. But then one of the most challenging things, I just saw a question in the chat about where to buy and how much to buy. One of the most challenging things about starting a holiday lighting business is not knowing what to buy and how much to buy and what to pay and when. And when you're part of our holiday lighting business launch team, you're going to get access to exclusive discounts and buying relationships that took us years to develop, right? Because we had to earn the trust of these people. These are national distributors that'll help you, guide you, they'll coach you, and they'll assist you in your growth of the holiday lighting business alongside us, right? And we've secured a special discount from these suppliers for the next 10 days of your holiday lighting purchases, so you can get your early season discounts and make them still profitable. And most of their customers already lost this opportunity, right, to take advantage of this. They don't give prices like this after July, but we knew that you wouldn't be ready to hear this in July. So we talked to them. We secured a special exception for only our customers. And those savings could be worth thousands of dollars, right? And this is profit to the bottom line. And so my grandfather once said that a dollar saved is a dollar earned. Just for being here today, you could have thousands of dollars more to spend on your family because of the profits that you're going to save. We couldn't really put a value on this because I don't know how much you're going to buy. So let's just say the value is $1,000. And you might be thinking this seems like a lot of work, or this isn't my main business. Maybe I'll do it next year. What I urge you to consider is the potential money gain. In many cases, you end up with leftover supplies, right? Just like, because like next year, like every year, you're going to have inflation. The earlier you start, the more profits you're going to build into your business next year. Or you might be thinking like, sheesh, November is my busy season, right? I'm trying to close up jobs. This overlaps with the month that we're trying to get our last jobs done. This is a great way to try before you buy with regards to new employees. Getting the ability to hire seasonal workers for your holiday lighting business gives the opportunity to try someone out before they become a site supervisor or a repair tech or an apprentice or a sales rep. You get to see if they show up for work on time, if they're fast or a hard worker. You get to see what people are made of with the ability to lay them off, right? And the only thing stopping you is your own fear about attracting, recruiting, hiring, onboarding, and retaining talent. This is a low stakes, limited scope opportunity to develop this highly valuable set of skills as a business owner, and you're getting paid to learn, and we can help. So I know when we thought about doing this, right, we thought, well, where are we going to get these guys? How much are we going to pay them? Everything you need to know is going to be made available for you today for far less than you think. And if you can hire construction labor or a repair guy, you can do this. Many people often miss opportunities because it's dressed in coveralls and it looks like work. And if Allison, a hairdresser, dating a roofer, could figure it out, I'm pretty sure you can too. And you might be asking yourself, is this some shiny red ball that I might chase and never execute on? And after seeing that, I can see how some of you might think that you're late to the game or your market is saturated. The great thing about holiday lighting is that its seasonal nature means that it's an added business line for many kinds of companies. Like I said, the landscapers, the outdoor lighting companies, the window washers, the screen door installers. The great thing about you as a roofer is that everyone trusts you not to be putting staples in the roof or doing these other stupid things that those companies do every day. It's an easy sell when you can tell people that you know how to walk on and work on roofs. Even in the most saturated market like Canada, where it's too cold to hang lights and everyone hires people, right? Like people loved hiring us as roofers to do this work. And the other thing that I really want to kind of highlight here is that when you're doing it, you can talk about how you have the insurance. You can talk about how you have the tools. You can talk about how if they have a roof, right, that you installed, using someone else could void their warranty. All of these things add value to your price that the other guys don't have. And again, thinking that you're in Florida or Texas or some hot place that doesn't get snow, and like who's going to hire someone to get lights here, you'd be surprised to hear again that our suppliers, their fastest growing market is Florida. Right now, people are going crazy for this. And all I can tell you is just to be careful wrapping any palm trees and posting them to social media. You might have to censor those because you might rub some people the wrong way. But hedge fund managers and old millionaires with wives who want to keep them working aren't hanging their own lights anywhere in the country. This is a luxury of the rich. And you want your roofing company to be the one that they remember when the storms come and the leaks happen. So I need to level with you. In 280 webinars, we have never sold something on a webinar. Alice and I have planned this webinar since before RBP was running webinars. This is the first time in 280 webinars where we might actually have something to sell you, but we have a special offer for those of you that, like I said, stayed to the end that are on the webinar today. So let's just talk about what you're getting today, right? It includes our lead getting system with the example ads, infographics, lawn sign designs, postcard examples that you can be inspired by and take your to your marketing team to start promoting today. Literally the day-by-day plan. It's like 30 pages, the day-by-day plan with your budgets, your platforms, your strategies to bury yourself in holiday light leads. And with this lead getting system, you're going to save thousands of wasted ad dollars because you're going to know exactly when to start and stop each of the promotions to squeeze every dollar out of your market. And like I said, just doing the Diwali lighting today would be worth thousands of dollars. And we could have valued it $89.99, but we said we weren't doing that. Although it cost us way more than that just to test and improve the strategies that we're valuing at $29.99. And remember all the things that you're also getting, you're getting the AI bots, right? That calculate the linear feet needed for a high margin tree. And people love these as upgrades. Our most expensive tree we sold, one single tree, was $9,000 at a 40% margin. That's $3,500 profit. And it's easy. right? Plus you're going to save thousands of dollars that we did in underbidding trees, which, I mean, what is the value of that? It's a lot, but we're valuing the bots at $4.99. And you're also getting the holiday lighting sales system. This is the exact strategies, the presentation format that we used to sell holiday lighting with the hero page examples, right? That we could use to compel homeowners to make their holiday lighting dreams come true. And you're going to receive the packages, like the upgrades, right? The frozen princess stuff that creates value in excess of the price to allow you to give your customers these design inspiration ideas that they just see as worth more simply because you're offering them. And you get all of that. Hundreds of hours went into conceptualizing them and selling them to know which ones work and which ones don't. And not to mention all the kinds of time spent perfecting the presentation flow that kind of hypnotizes the owners into wanting to splurge this holiday season. And we valued that at $19.99, which seems silly when I'm saying it out loud. But again, I don't usually sell in webinars, but none of that matters if you don't know how to install the holiday lights. Not just hanging the lights, but how to wrap the trees properly, the tools, the tricks, the tips, all the things to get the best jobs installed profitably, and all the fast and easy ways to put out quality work that people love, rave, and tell their friends about. So the customers come back year after year after year, and you get that recurring revenue. Learning any trade worth learning usually costs either time or money, and time is money, and it costs us more to do that. But where I got the value from this is what it costs to go to trade school in Virginia, which is $1,200, right? That's it, right? Which it's got to be worth more than that. And you're also getting our full guide on how to buy the holiday lights, both the permanent and seasonals, including the tools and everything you need to buy in bulk and save. And we can't forget to mention what could be the most valuable part and true bottom line profit is that you get being part of the holiday lighting launch business plan. Right? The group buying discount, right? Depending on how much you buy, this could be worth hundreds or thousands or even more. We agreed to just value it $1,000. So everything together that you're seeing today, the total value is $7,697, a fraction of what it's worth, a fraction of what it costs to learn, and a fraction of what it costs just to package all this up, right? And it's a fraction of what you could do with it. That is less than half the cost of the average college tuition in the United States, which is what, $23,000, right? And we're giving you a special deal. And before I tell you the price, I want to remind you one thing. This is certainty in an uncertain world. RBP prides itself on never releasing sucky fluff into the market. We always say, if you fear that you're giving it away too cheap, you know you built something right, which is why we're including everything you need to turn this into a recurring revenue business system that is going to guarantee you recurring revenue for years to come. I don't know what certainty costs, but I recently became a parent, so I know what uncertainty feels like, and I'm a business owner, so I can say that certainty is priceless. So we're including it at no charge. To give this away to our loyal fans, customers, the people in this webinar today for $5,000 would be completely fair, right? Now, I'm pretty sure none of you came here prepared to spend $5,000, so we thought cutting that in half, even though it cost us 10 times that, and probably a lot more is worth it in the wisdom, 2,500 sounds a lot more palatable, right? I think you would agree that that's fair, right? But here's the thing. I'm not an internet salesperson. I don't do webinar sales. And I feel a little uncomfortable asking you for thousands of dollars to learn something you've never done. It's not like I'm talking about selling more roofs or getting more claims approved, like the stuff you guys are already buying every day from Deshaun Bryan or Adam Bensman or Becca Switzer or all these other people who are selling you something. I don't usually do this, right? But I feel like I felt guilty asking for this number. A number I don't feel guilty for would be $999. But here's the thing. I'm also in the Christmas spirit, and I don't want this to be out of anybody's reach. Anybody's reach. And so I said to myself that if we were doing this, I want to make sure this is within the reach of anyone. And $999 might be a lot to someone. If it's just one person, it's too much for it's enough. And so even though it costs us 50 times more than that to learn it and develop it and make this thing, to actually just make the guide, I know the $399 is within anyone's reach here. Even if you don't have a business, even if you're an employee of a roofing business and you just want to start this as a side hustle, I know in my heart that $399 is within reach of anyone. And so if you want to buy the guide, you can scan here. You can go and see this website right now. You can see right now that this guide is on this website right now for more money than what I'm going to be charging you for today. Okay, I'm going to go to the landing page right now so you guys can see that it's on our page. 1 second. So you can see here, $999. This is what we're selling this for on our website, but just for you, the people in the webinar, you want to click here, you're going to end up paying the $999. All right. Now, if any of you want to buy this, right, and if you guys want to support RBP, and if you guys want to launch holiday lighting, and if you think it's worth $399 just to see if you could execute on it, put a 5 in the chat, and we will email you a special payment link for $399. And you will get this. Just put a 5 in the chat. We'll send this guide over to you. We just have to get it. We'll send you a payment link. It's $399. You'll get that today, and you can buy this guide and save yourself all that money. All right. Now, what I'm looking for you guys is to make sure you guys have all the help you need. All right. Now, if you're looking for additional help, and again, I want to make the guide will give you, it's only good for today, Andre. It's only good for today. So put a 5 in the chat. Our team will send you the payment link. The payment link is going to expire on Monday. So you got it for the weekend. But in case you have to transfer money around, we want to make sure anybody can get this that wants it. But as of Monday, this is gone. We are selling it for full price because we want to make sure everybody has everything they need help. And if you need additional help, again, I want to make that guide will teach you everything, right? So you have everything you need in the guide to do it. But if you want additional help, there is ways for you to get additional help from us. All right. You will get the bots for free with the guide. We have marketing swipe files where you can get even more creative design that you can use, right? So you actually get the design files, the raw files that you can then go and use to make your own stuff. We will also design you. You get a do-it-yourself hero page pack for Sumo Quote, so you can get your own Sumo Quote pages designed by RBP, so you don't have to go find your own designer. If you want to get, so this is like the do-it-yourself package, but if you want to get us to design them for you, we will design 8 hero pages for you so that you have everything that you need designed, so you don't have to go find your own people. Again, you're going to get the inspiration in the guide. You can get the swipe file. You can get the do-it-yourself ones, or you can get us to do it for you. And if you want us to upgrade your Sumo Quote to have everything that you need with the pricing that you're paying from Big Star, with all the measurement tokens, so you can quickly calculate them, you can pay an additional $1,000 and have us upgrade your Sumo Quote. And for the ballers in the room, right? I don't expect everybody to get this, but for the ballers in the room, you can also get the fully managed marketing plan, where we will give you everything that you need to get the leads, because we will literally do your marketing for you. We will get you we will design your Google ads. We will design your Facebook ads. We will promote your videos. We will make it so that your ads turn on and off at the right time. We will design your landing pages, your thank you pages, so that everything you need for a 3-month plan is set up so you're ready to go to market with. Again, just the ballers in the room. You'll pay for the ad spend. We're going to run the marketing services for you. And again, I don't like selling on webinars. I already feel super uncomfortable. I've never sold on a webinar in 280 webinars, but this is just something that you're going to want to do. And so we're also going to have a holiday lighting launch webinar where during the holiday lighting season, we're going to be coaching any of our customers who get anything on this list. You're going to be invited to our holiday lighting business launch, and we will help you and support you through the holiday lighting season, answer your questions, and help you make money during the season. So thank you for your guys' presence and attention here today. If you guys enjoyed this, again, we got the 5s in the chat. My sales team is going to reach out to you, send you a payment link, and you're going to get that ability to buy it. You can scan this QR code or use the link in the chat to go and see our other offers. Again, I don't want to charge anybody who doesn't have the money, but if you want the extra help, we're here to help. And if you guys want to help us, absolutely free way to help us is just, you can screenshot this picture and you can share it to your social and help us get the word out to other roofers who might want to get holiday lighting. This will allow us to continue to spread the word about our products, right? And so I just want you guys to have this picture available to you so you guys can do that. And I'm super excited to help you guys add 10 to even 20% revenue to your roofing business just by getting more of your customers, the people who already buy from you, will buy from you, bought from you in the past, to make their Christmas holiday dreams come true. And you can make it so your sales teams have more money in their pockets and year-round permanent lighting upgrades. So I have shaking my ass like the rent is due. I hope you guys have all enjoyed today's webinar. I never want to sell something without making sure it's fun and entertaining for you guys. You guys have questions? We have time, so I would love to hear your questions. We will stay until everybody's questions are answered. You can ask a question by either using the reactions button, raise your hand and ask a question, or you can post a question in the Q&A box. I'm just going to scroll through the chat. I'm sure there's a bunch of unhinged madness in here, but I'll see if I missed any questions.
It's me. I think your first question is just asking about like the supply and how much you should have on hand. And I think that there's a really important aspect to buying as you go.
Yeah. So I would suggest leaning in on something like this. If you've made some net profits, I would recommend spending 10, 20, 30, 40 for a $5 million company in the guide that you're going to get. We use a $5 million roofing company as an example, and we suggest a $40,000 light purchase. And that wouldn't even get you through the season, right? Because that's going to get you about 30,000 feet where the lights, right? Or something like that. It's all in the guide, but we did all the math. But again, buy $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 worth of lights, you're going to sell them. That's the biggest mistake we made in our first year was we were chicken shits. And we bought like $3,000 worth of lights, and then $2,000 and $3,000 and $2,000. Then we were missing out on all those early season discounts, the bulk buys, because now the supplier is moving stuff around from location to location to location, right? Order more clips than you need. They're 2 cents a piece, and all of it's in the guide, like what your initial purchase order could or should be. Because as the season goes on, the pricing on the lights goes up. And so in the guide, we talk about the colors. And if you're working with us on any of our higher level packages, again, we're going to be doing this holiday lighting business launch guide, but just $10,000 would be a really good start. So you could just take the budget in the guide, divide it by 4, or that all the numbers on there by 4. And that's a good place to start. But I'll tell you, like, we lost so much profit by just not being confident. The next year we ordered 30,000 feet right away. Right. And we sold out. Like, we sold out. We were scrambling to get more. We were talking to other Christmas lighting guys around town in neighboring cities. We were getting extra stuff, right? Like because we ran out, right? Because once you do it and you show up in force and you promote the piss out of it, like all the omnipresence of the lead getting strategy that we share you, like all of a sudden you're just the people who do it. And like I said, like Shack Shine, the people who wash siding and windows, they were our number 1 competitor, right? But we can outspend them on marketing because their hope is that they get them as a pressure washing customer for $1,000 a year.
$400.
Yeah, or $400. Like, well, that's what we paid to get our windows washed. I think it was like $300 or $400, right? Like,
we paid $400 and they were there for 10 hours, and it was like, holy crap, this might not be the service that we want to offer. And the other thing too is it's just good to have like the stuff that I wouldn't buy all of like the premium stuff up on hand. Like I would make special orders because the shipping is quick, but when it comes to like your stock, where it's like your tools, ordering your installer kits, and then making sure that you have more than enough wire and the like adapter clips or the adapter pieces, and then also clips. I just like that is something that's so important, because if you're trying to use the ones from Best Buy or Rona or Lowe's, they're a nightmare. They're like brittle in the cold. They don't hang the same. They don't hold the lights the same. And it really starts to make the installs look janky.
They break every third time. There's the cheap ones that you get from the store junk.
Yeah, they're absolutely just garbage. And so just making sure you have the right tools for the install, because I mean, Big Star, I spoke with Claire a week ago, and she said that they have made sure that they tripled what they typically spend so that they have enough lights. But every single year, no matter like what the economic landscape is, like every single year they'll sell out of like a purple bulb and you sold the customer purple and blue or something like that. So it's like, make sure that you are stocking up on like your essentials. And it is all covered in the guide as well. And something that is just so important.
Yeah. The other question is how do you pay the crews for it? How many guys per job? 2 to 3 people is all you need. Most of our jobs had 2 people. And you pay between $1.50 and $2.50 per foot for install, because again, it's like clip $1.50, clip $1.50, clip $1.50, clip $1.50, clip $1.50. Like it's super fast, right? To do, because they just string out the wire. You put like, there's 2 ways to do it. You can put the lights in at the job, or you can put the lights in the shop the previous night, like so depending on the workload, right? You make decisions, right? It's a good way to get the whole company involved too, because there's going to be ladies that do the office management job and their workload is super light in the wintertime because they're not paying 3 crews a day. They're not ordering materials or taking phone calls or, doing stuff. The whole company loves to get involved in stuff like this. It's super fun. You get great social media out of it. It's a company culture builder. Like it was just a game changer. But so you pay between it again, some markets you might have to pay $2.50 just because maybe it's a little colder, right? Or you might you can pay like $1.50 for the main lights and $2.50 for the second story because it's a little slower. Usually we charge like a little more, so we'd have like a $3 or $4 surcharge for doing the higher up lights per foot. And the what am I saying here? And then in the end season, when you go to take them down, you pay $1 a foot because they're super fast, right? To take it down, right? Because it's just clip, clip. Like you pull the wire, pull the clip, pull the wire, pull the clip, pull the wire, pull the clip. And usually you can walk on the roof at this point. So you're just like walking along the edge of the roof, right? You're not like having to worry about the hook and the lift and stuff like that. The trees, you might wait until a little later in the season and just take all the trees down at once, rent your lift, and just bung, 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 bung. And so, but 2, 3 guys, sometimes like on a tree, it helps to have 3 people because you got 2 people passing the wire back and forth with the tree, and then 1 person on the ground feeding the wire and moving the reel around and stuff like that. So big jobs, 3 people. I think the most we ever had on a job site was 4, and that was just because we were just cranking them off so fast, right? And it was just helpful to have 1
A
person.
lot of trees, or typically like if you have like a 60, 70, 80 foot tree, like you want, someone on the ground with a walkie talkie and then 2 people in lifts passing the lights back and forth and coordinating it. So sometimes when you have like those really big jobs, and yeah, that kind of brings me into my next point, and just like making sure that you are planning and organizing your jobs just so that when you're going out, it's well communicated with the customer. And then also when you're going to take those lights down in the spring, you set a task in your CRM and or you set up a sequence so that you kind of let the customer know that when you're coming out. And bonus tips, because you can do a spring inspection, like a 24-point inspection when you go to take those lights down. Make sure that their roof and their gutters are all in working order. And that can also be like the start of your season where you're starting to like get that those extra customers and making sure that they are prepared for the season coming up so that you can feed into your roofing business.
Yeah. And then we have another question in the guide. Does give instruction on building out the Sumo quote. There's some instruction in there. There's some inspiration pages for the hero pages. There's some explanation as to how you break down the line item pricing, like timers and stuff like that. And then when we get closer to season, we're going to have that as one of the episodes of our holiday lighting business launch guide, because we're going to walk through it a little bit more in depth. And because it's hard to like screenshot your way through that in the guide. So that's going to be, as a buyer of the guide, you get access to the launch business system. And so you'll be in those webinars where you'll be able to get that. So I hope that answers your question. Do you just put that customer wire in a rubber tote and label it for next year? Yes, absolutely. So in the guide, right, what you do, well, it's in the guide as well. So I'm going to go back here.
And it also, like, if you have a lot of, Joe, if you have a lot of lights, then you would probably keep it on the spool. So like for those really long or the really long lengths with Christmas trees, you're probably going to keep it on the spool. But then for smaller ones and roof lines, yeah, you're going to be putting it into the totes and making sure that you're labeling both sides, and then put that in company cam when you're labeling both sides, so you know like where the start and the end is, and you also know, you just know where they're going to go up next year.
Yeah. So so then when you're done, you're gonna, like I said, you'll go in company cam and you'll just say, okay, this wire, put red tape on it. This wire, put yellow tape on it. This wire, put pink tape on it. This wire, put orange tape on it. And then you either keep it in your spool or you can put it on these rubber totes. So that way, and you drill a couple holes in there because there's going to be some moisture in there. You don't want that just in there all the time. So you just get a drill and just blah, 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 and put a couple holes in. And then now when you put labels on all sides, right? So no matter how you stack them, wherever you put them, right? Because I mean, remember, these jobs are small, right? Like this is a $2,500 job, right? So you have like 3 of these tall, you got $7,500 stored in the space where you could store like 20 bundles. You know what I mean? Like, 20 bundles is not going to be $7,500. And these things don't get like mangled throughout the year. So then because they're just sitting in a box. And so you just label all 4 sides. And like Allison said, she got even more meticulous with it, because once we knew that this thing was going to work, it's like, then she was like, okay, well, for hanging next year, I'm going to put all the south side boxes in this pile, all the north side boxes in this pile, all the west boxes here, all the east boxes here, all the downtown boxes here. And then she even had like the rich River Valley section, because we wanted to maximize the time that we had the lift earning money before we would have it, be parking for maybe a day or 2 in between jobs. But that way we could go install 20 jobs straight in the River Valley with the lift beeping all day. And then maybe, usually you don't have it sit, but it would get, we had times it got like super crazy cold or snowy, and it was like, nobody wants to do lights in this. And so we'd wait a day or 2. But then the lift is just getting phone calls and phone calls and phone calls. But then having all those jobs packed into one area is good. I mean, and now I'm thinking about it, it would be good to even have like on the box, like need lift, you know what I mean? So then you could just have a separate, like, there's all kinds of ways we continue to make this.
Planning and coordinating your jobs is just such a great way for your team to go out there and install and make sure that you are like giving that upgraded premium service, like making sure that they have everything that they need. They don't have to leave the site. So like, if you think about the Google reviews that you're going to be getting, and just like them sharing them naturally and organically on their social media, you want to engineer a better customer experience. And that's something that, like, you don't want your customer saying like, oh, they came and then they left and they didn't really tell me where they were going. Like engineer that right out of the experience and make sure that they have everything that they need. Their pack out is full, and that they can put all of the totes in and just go do the job, get them up, and then you can come back later when the lights are ready to be, the timers are set, and that you're ready to actually like take photos of the job.
Yes, absolutely. And so I'm going to get to your question 1 second, Abel, but as usual, Chad GPT comes out of the woodwork with an awesome improvement. So he made it so that now you can add a discount code on the purchase page, and the lighting discount code is lighting 9624. So you guys can just go here and enter lighting 9624. So lighting 9624. Apply, and the price goes down to $3.99. So that makes it super easy for you guys to go purchase this now. Saves the sales guys the time of bugging you by the emails. Fantastic improvement. Thank you so much, Chad. Really appreciate you. So just make sure, go in there, apply that discount code, and you guys will have that. It's only valid for today. So go get that done. But then question from Abel was, where was it here? Do you charge the same for commercial? Not usually. Usually charge more for a couple of reasons. Usually and it could balance out, and it's more of a negotiation, because sometimes you're going to get like a $200,000 job. You might order in some custom big like wire, like gift boxes that are 6 feet tall. Like if you get like a shopping center, you'll get from like 3 gift boxes that you'll stack on top, right? And this is why during the Holiday Lighting Business Launch Guide, we're going to be like in the webinars, we're going to be talking about like what commercial jobs do. But then also some of your input costs are higher, right? Because you won't necessarily be able to use like gutter hangers, right? So you're going to use sticky clips, right? So it's like a little clip that you stick and then you slip in the clip into it, rip, stip, clip. That was my rap. But yeah, or like you're gonna get a ton of trees, so there might be a bit of a volume deal that you can do, but it's you'll have different clips that you use, or you use the magnet clips, right? And the other thing that we didn't really talk about, but it's in the guide, is that you just like to make customers feel really good, you do a 36-hour guarantee off holiday days. You don't do it on Veterans Day or Christmas or whatever. But if the lights fall or if the lights burn out, you're going to fix it in 36 hours. I think we did one. But it makes people feel really good to know that if anything happens, you're going to come back and fix it. So it's not very hard to do because the clips that we use are good, so they don't fall down, right?
And the lights are premium, like you're getting a commercial, like a professional light that when you buy from box stores, a lot of times like the one in the center, like the strand in the center will stop working and the entire light strand will go out. But with the bulbs that we have, like each bulb is manufactured so that like if one bulb goes out, the whole strand doesn't go out. But then you can just go back and put a bulb in there. And it's always great to test inside of the shop because it's warm. You can test them before you even go out. You can take extra stock, and so that if you have any issues, you can just quickly screw in that bulb. And just to jump back to like when you're storing, we actually went as far as having like a microfiber cloth. We bought them from Costco. We had a ton of them, and we would actually unscrew all of the bulbs every single year so that the customer could, for no cost, get a discount, but they could also change their colors to a non-premium color. And that's in the guide as well, so that you can just quickly like go in and put the bulbs down. And you also make sure that there's no corrosion risks, like because the holiday lights, they don't love that like rain and like ice melt. And so, yes, they do have draining in them for when they're installed, but it's just better. They'll last a lot longer if you uninstall those and like pull out the bulbs and store them store them properly so that you can quickly change the color for next season.
That's weird. It was no, that is not weird. That is good. Joe just said there's an issue with the page coming up with an error. I'm not sure why that would be happening. I'm gonna see if Chad has any insight into that. I'm gonna go look. Commerce, payment links, holiday lighting guide, save. I wonder if just too many people tried buying it at once.
Looks like he said it worked there. He just tried it again and it worked. So it seems like it's working fine to me from what I can tell as well.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any. I just checked our Commerce Hub. No issues. Yeah.
Yep. So that discount code will work for the rest of today. And at midnight it'll go dark. So
perfect. But yeah, when it comes to commercial, like just go, like if you don't do this business, watch when you drive around town, look at the car dealerships, look at the shopping centers, look at the builders show homes who are trying to sell real estate right now. All of them are going to have holiday lighting set up. This is an awesome way to get people to look out the car window and see a business, right? Like, what do your kids do when they're in the car? Christmas lights. I can't wait till Atlas does that, right? Andre, yeah, the email link, it'll work till Monday. I'll make sure that you can get it. Just make sure you reach out to me personally. And so, yeah, I'll make sure you get access to it. So I want to make sure everybody can get it. But it's yeah, this is just such a good business, and I just know that if I can inspire people to take this up, I know that I'm helping roofing business owners do something special for themselves, for their teams, for their community. Like, I know what this did for us, right? Because we had no choice but to figure out something to do in the winter. And we put guys on snow removal. We thought, oh, snow removal, we already have the dump trucks, right? We got a job at the city doing like the ambulance stations and the hospitals. And in one day, one guy brought his girlfriend, wasn't wearing a vest at like 4 a.m. because he had to show up a certain time after it snowed. Showed up his girlfriend. She wasn't wearing a vest. She wasn't on her payroll. That got us in trouble. The same, you're not allowed to smoke on the property of an ambulance station, even though we were 500 feet away from the door doing a sidewalk. Some guy was caught on camera smoking, lost $1 million contract, right? Yeah, so that's that. We've learned, yeah, it was brutal. Like, you know, thought, hey, you guys can do a step pattern. Maybe we could do flooring and basements. Nope, for some reason, when the step pattern goes like that, can't do it. Gaps everywhere, like lots of wasted material, right? Like it was crazy, right? These were like construction guys. Like it's not like we were hiring crackheads. We actually employed guys like hourly payroll. Like we chose our people. Nope, that didn't work. We tried what else did we try? Basements, like just doing basements, like basically selling our labor to another basement contractor, and the guys just I don't know, it was like the minute they were indoors they just went squirrely, right? And just nothing worked. And then all of a sudden we did holiday lighting, everybody loved it and it was fun and the customers love it, and it's like we were getting featured on the radio because of our Facebook ads. So then somebody from the radio reached out, talked to us about it. And then like that one of the guy in the Santa Claus costume, that was the veteran that got nominated. We had all these nominations. And then the veteran was a guy who his wife passed away and he beat cancer or something. And he was like up and down the street with a Santa costume all the time. And he was like the highlight of their neighborhood. And now he got the Grinch package lighting job for free, and we recorded the videos. Whenever we gave away the free lighting thing, we record the video on a Facebook Live of us phoning her or him, and they got excited about it. And people would post us on Instagram and tag us, and it was a media circus that we were just not used to as a roofing company. And I want everybody here to get that. So I don't see any other questions. I really appreciate everybody staying to the end. I look forward to helping all of our customers for the guide, coming through and getting the how do I say it? The holiday lighting business launch webinars and being there for us. And if you guys help us spread the word, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me and my family. And we will see you guys in the next webinar. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone.